Today, we're going to talk about 6 steps to building a brand, a personal brand, not just online, but also offline. Hey y'all, how you doing out there? Welcome back to the Digital MP YouTube channel. My name is Kim, and I love to share online branding tips for healthcare professionals. Now, I have a few videos that have already been out there, and so if you've missed any of them, make sure you go back and you look at them. I'm going to be coming out with a lot of information, and I would love for you to join me in this space. So today, what are we going to talk about? Today, we're going to talk about 6 steps to building a brand, a personal brand, not just online, but also offline. All right. So the reason why I felt like this was an important topic to talk about was because I get a lot of questions about like where to start, what to focus on and where to start. And I'll be honest with you, it takes some time. It's like rolling up a snowball. You roll up the snowball until it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you can push it down the hill and you have all this impact, right? So that's really what you need to think about when it comes to building your brand, is that it's not going to necessarily just happen overnight. Like you're putting bricks into a building. Like you're building a wall, you're putting your brick into the wall little bit by little, brick by brick, And so let's get into these tips. The first one I would say is, if you're wanting to build your brand, not just online, but also offline as well, it needs to be just that. It needs to be congruent, where what happens online also happens offline. Okay. It needs to be consistent both ways. Okay. What people see online is what they see offline, and they get what you see is what you get. Okay. And the reason I say this, because yes, we're in this digital space, but we're also in this space where everyone's feed and their profile is very curated. It's very perfect. We all know that we're not perfect. So why do we attempt perfection when we know it's not attainable? Okay. Another thing to keep in mind, if you want this to be something that can be on and offline, like what you see is what you get, the best way to do this is to be yourself. Be your full self and bring your full self. Okay? Because you can't change that. Your personality is your personality. So whatever your personality is online, you don't have to worry and be like, I wonder if this is going to show up like this offline. Well, it's you. How I act online, like the way that I'm speaking to y'all now, I speak to my friends like this with my hands and all this stuff like that. I'm that way regardless. When I go to speaking engagements, I don't change how I am. I dress the way that I normally dress. I wear my hair the way that I normally wear my hair. I do the things that I normally do because that is natural. If I try to do what other people do, I can't keep that up. The next tip is, be clear on who you are. And what I mean by that is not so much that, oh, my name is Kimberly Ellis, but like, what do you do? What do you want to be known for? And this really goes in alignment with like your likes and your likes and desires. Like, what is it that you are naturally gifted in? What are the things that you like to do? That gives you some insight on, what do I want to be known for? You don't want to say, just because you're good at something does not necessarily mean that's what you want to be known for it too. Keep that in mind too, because if this is a brand, you're building a brand not for just today, but for your lifetime. You want to be known for something, but don't get so structured on it where you don't allow yourself to evolve, because as we grow as people, we're going to evolve. Our likes and our dislikes change. Our hobbies change. Our hobbies evolve. Our interests evolve. So you have to think about that. But in the moment, what is it that I want to be known for? What is the mark that I want to make? And this will then in turn help you to be able to curate what kind of offering you want to put out there for the masses. Speaking of the masses, here's my third tip, and that's, who is your audience? Getting clear on who your audience is. This is something that I see a huge mistake with a lot of people. I feel like there is inconsistencies with who the individual is and who they're talking to and what they're offering. Like none of them line up, right? So it's like, if you are a person who is, let's give an example. So let's say that you are a donut shop owner, and you know that you service people who live in the local neighborhood, and you serve donuts. That's consistency. It's congruency there. My donut shop is in a certain neighborhood, and that's who comes into my shop, and I sell donuts. And I tell them I sell donuts, and there's signs everywhere about donuts, and I have many different types of donuts. But what if that donut shop owner was marketing or trying to talk to somebody in another state who can't get to his shop, and he starts advertising fried chicken, but you're still saying that you're a donut shop? People are going to be confused as to what you're trying to do. And so you have to draw that line, connect the dots, and draw that line where this is who I am, this is what I offer, and these are the people who would be best served with this offer. Just simply brainstorming that could help you a lot in your messaging. All right, point number 4, just keeping this moving and see how you're going to see how this is all working together. So we have decided that we're going to show up authentically us so our brand can be consistent on and off brand. We have decided who we are, what we're going to be known for, and who would be best served for that. So now we're left with going to where those people are, going to the watering hole. What I like to say, go find your watering hole. And if you don't know what a watering hole is, like in the bush, that's where, like, the animals of the wild would go and drink and get in the water and cool off. It's the watering hole. So where do those people hang out online to quench their thirst of wanting to have content or whatever it is? You go there. And that's another part of that line that I was saying that oftentimes is broken, is because many people are talking to people in the wrong place. It's like that person who has the donut shop, but you are going and you're trying to promote to people in a workout fitness program. Like, chances are these people are not really interested in eating your donuts every single day. I often find even the healthcare professional that knows who they are, what they offer, and who would be best served with that, I find that a lot of times people miss it at this point. You are on a space, you're on a social media platform that your target audience is not there. Okay. So you are on one platform, but it's primarily professionals. So you're in essence preaching to the choir, but you in essence need to be somewhere else, right? And so I tell people, don't get caught up in what's the trendy social media platform. You need to go to where your people are. Where are your people? The 5th tip, I've touched on this in the first point about being consistent on and offline. Your brand needs to have that congruency. And I'll just double down on this. You need to do that by being authentic. Here's the thing. People can sense when you are not being genuine. If you are showing up and you are putting on a persona that's not yours because you saw another person do that, it's almost like you have a costume on. And we all know what people look like when they have on a costume, like a Halloween costume. Like your child could dress up as a lion. You're not going to be like, oh my gosh, you're a lion. You know that that's a kid in a lion suit. And that is exactly how you look when you're trying to put on a persona or do something that is not naturally you. Make it easy on yourself and show up as you already are. Come as you are. Be authentic, be genuine, be real. And I'm only saying this because this has been the key for my brand. People have reached out to me literally because I speak the way that I speak. I'm different from what everybody else. I stand out from the crowd. And that's because I walk fully in who I am. And guess what? It doesn't just have to be me, y'all. It could be you too, because guess what? None of us are alike. We're all just big snowflakes. You know how they say that there's not one snowflake that's alike? It's the same thing. None of us are alike. There's no one else like you out there. So you just showing up as yourself, you're already going to be standing out from the crowd because you are showing up for, you're showing up as yourself. All right, last tip, my sixth tip, and I'm going to tell you, this is my favorite, okay? And you probably can tell because not only do I have one, but I have two YouTube channels, but video is king. Video is king, y'all. And what I mean by that is you have to get over not being on video and showing your face on video. And I know that's scary. And especially if you come from the old regime, I was on the end of the old regime. I'm kind of like a sandwich nurse where like I know about the old stuff, but I also was coming through school when the new stuff was introduced. You know, we were told like you don't need to be on social media. I know people who were fired. You know, publicly, we have seen people get fired for posting something online and stuff. And of course, use discretion. Like we know better. You're not going to put people's information out there. You know, I wouldn't even do anything in my work attire. I wouldn't do anything that's on, you know, on the grounds of where I worked. But me filming myself in my home, speaking about something that I know about, I'm not bashing anybody. I'm not bringing up any names. I'm not doing any of that. Like, I should not have an issue with that. And if an employer does have an issue with that, they really don't have any feet to stand on with that, because what I do outside of my work life is my business. You can't dictate that, especially if I am not breaking any like policy, if I am not doing anything immorally wrong. You know what I'm saying? I can do anything online as long as I'm being moral about it, you know, and having some types of morals about it. And so the thing about video that is so powerful, for one, there's capability on every social media at this point to show up on video. So all the platforms are prioritizing any of their video clips, any video type of content. But again, if we're talking about being authentic, if we're talking about servicing people, if we're talking about having a brand that translates on and offline, video is the quickest way for you to be able to establish all of that. Why? Because people can get your full personality, your full demeanor through video. Think about it. When you write something, i.e. a blog, people don't really know your tone. They don't know what your angle or your tone is there. Even in a podcast, though people can hear your voice and your inflections in your voice, they still can't fully get who you are as a person. But when you are on video, it's as if you're having a conversation with the person. And it's funny because I actually had a conversation with one of my friends who is also a client of mine. You know, she is still overcoming her insecurities on video. And mind you, she's come leaps and bounds because initially she didn't want to get on video at all. She had a lot of insecurities and, you know, just didn't want to get on. And so now she's on consistently. She comes on consistently. She does webinars and all those things. But she was saying that she was so used to being a healthcare provider, just being on the roster of the insurance company, and then people could just pick her name from a list, and then boom, she had a patient. And I told her, but isn't it funny that we are service providers and you are more comfortable with somebody picking just a random name off of a list versus them seeing your personality and your demeanor and how you would be working with them? They can't see your kindness through just a random list. They can't see your compassion through a random list. The best thing you can do is really work on being on video, being in front of a camera and working on your camera presence. And this is something that I really coach my clients with, is camera presence. Like, it's weird to all of us to sit in front of a camera, because right now I'm talking to you all, but in essence, behind this camera, there's no one in here except me. And I remember when I first started filming myself, I was like, this is weird. Like, who am I talking to? You know, and then, you know, being in a house with other people and they hear you in a room talking and stuff. But again, my family knows that I do this, so they know I'm just not in here talking to myself. But it does feel a little awkward. But here's the thing, the more that you do it, the easier it gets. So guys, that's all I have for you all. I hope this video was helpful. I am planning on giving out more tips. I actually have a video that's coming up after this video that's going to be all about saving time saving tips on social media. So if you are interested in that, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Also, ding the notification bell. And then I also want you to hop down in the description box because I have a lot of resources that are down there. The one that I want to mention today is I talked a lot about the different strategies that I help my clients. And so I do have a 90-day coaching program called the Digital Diagnosis, where I help healthcare professionals build a strong personal brand. And we go through clarity, we go through content, we go through consistency, so you can get up a brand that is strong and efficient and won't take up all of your time. So then you can really spend the time on the things that you really want. So if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and book a discovery call and apply, and we can see if we're a good fit for each other. Again, you have been sitting here with Kim, the Digital MP, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.